welcome to Peacoat After Dark, starring yours truly, Peacoat Slim. And today we're going to focus on what's going on in today's world. Because if you're still up right now and scrolling, trying to make sense of everything, this is the place for you. No noise, all perspective. Welcome to the show. Let's get started. To start this off, we need to find out the definitions of these words that they're using on the media because they can be using those to trick and confuse people. If you were just a newcomer to the United States of America, or if you were, say, someone who disconnected from the world, checked in a couple of times, and then noticed that they're trying to throw people out and don't know why and what's the uproar, usually, if you hear the story from the middle, you're always on the side of the bad guy. Because there's always some reason why he's doing what he's doing. Because the very first question that you're going to ask yourself is, what did they do to him that make him so mad? What did they do to him to make him come up with such an elaborate plan? What did they do? That's exactly what they're going to say. That's exactly what they're going to say. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Do you all know what a refugee is? You hear these words all the time. Refugee, asylum seekers, like what are these things, you know? You have ICE running around now trying to make the country just a little bit more safe again, as they say. Make the country safe again. You know, removing people who are illegally here. That's what they're telling you on TV. If you listen to TV or you listen to what your local media person's telling you, they're going to tell you that ICE is here to remove your friends and family and just throw them out the country, even though they're doing good and being good citizens and things like that and helping them out, you know? That's funny. ICE removing people and being good citizens. Oxymoron. There's no way that ICE is coming for you if you're an American citizen. Point blank, period. But we're going to get into that. We're going to break down all of this. Also, you have the Ilhan Omar, that situation. People saying just weird things about her and her personal life and how she got here and stuff like that. We're going to unpack that too because it needs to be done. We're going to clear up all the misnomers. There's going to be no confusion. And then when you wake up the next morning, you're going to intake all this information and say, dang, that Pico Slim, he knew what he was talking about. But without further ado, let's get to it. Refugee versus an asylum seeker. Let me say that again. We have refugees versus asylum seekers. Most of us do not know what these words mean, but they are used on an everyday basis. Let's talk about it. What is a refugee? A refugee is somebody who is outside of the country requesting to come into the country legally with the idea to gain citizenship. That is the whole idea for a refugee. What do? They wait maybe 1 to 3 years in a country applying for citizenship or just applying just to get here as a refugee, saying, hey, I want to come over there. How can I do this? That's a refugee. An asylum seeker. An asylum seeker is somebody who is on a visa and they're already in the United States and they overstayed their visa. That's an asylum seeker. An asylum seeker is also a person who came and bum rushed the border, got into the United States illegally, and decided to set up camp. Then, once they're here, decide that they're going to contact the authorities and ask for asylum. Get it? One of these people said, hey, can I come to your country? The other one said, man, I'm here and y'all not going to send me away because I already planted my seeds and my kids are here now and they're natural born and da 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 da. That's what happens. That's an asylum seeker. That's what they do. Now, here's the difference. If you are a refugee, and this is very important, especially when it comes to the ICE situation, very important. If you're a refugee, meaning and you was outside the country and you tried to apply for this refugee status, and you were granted that refugee status, You do not have to worry about ICE knocking on your door looking for you and about to send you back. All you have to do is just be a law-abiding person. That's it. I would have said citizen, but we're going to get into that a little bit later on how you set up that citizenship. Now, if you are an asylum seeker, you pretty much got to duck the law. Like, you're here illegally and you got to let them know that you're here illegally. But you see what this administration is doing to people who are here illegally and letting them know. They're giving you a free chartered flight home. Some of these packages include an extra $3,000 with it, but they're sending you back home if you come and let them know. Now, if they find you, according to this administration that's in right now in 2025, 2026, Mr. Donald Teasy, they're saying that you will be sent home and you will never get the opportunity to come back. One of them allows you to come back as a refugee. The other one just says, hey, you're not coming back at all. That is the importance of these words, and we have to keep this in mind. There's a difference between a refugee and an asylum seeker. A refugee went through the paperwork properly. An asylum seeker came here illegally, bum rushed the border, and got into America. No one knew that they were here. Maybe they were paying taxes on like sales tax and things like that if they had a job and stuff, but no one knew that they were here. Now, people say, hey, what's the uproar? This is stolen land. This is America. Da, 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 da. We're in 2026 now, people. 2026. 2026. You could say it's a stolen land, but right now, over these past, I don't know, 250 years, 300 years, I don't know how many years America's been established. 400 years? Yeah. We close to about 400, 300, 400, I don't know. Y'all do the math. All I know is, right now is the time where we have the most opportunity, where racism really doesn't exist unless you look at it on a physical level or on a media landscape level. Because if you continue to listen to the media and the media landscape, you'll be convinced of the most atrocious things. Later, I'm going to get to them saying that Ilhan Omar married her brother, which is crazy. Crazy for somebody even to say that and not produce no real evidence. No real evidence. Which is distracting away from the situation that is going on in Minnesota where these people are stealing the money. We're discussing about somebody else and who they decide to sleep with and stuff like that. That right there is none of our business. That right there is bait and switch. And I'm starting to think the people who are pushing that, the real people who are pushing that, are actually on the side of the people who are doing the scams and manipulation, which we're about to get into. But before we get back to there, let me stress again, if you are a refugee, they're not looking for you. ICE is not looking for you. If you are an asylum seeker, hey man, all bets are off. You told them where you were, all that good information, which was crazy in itself. Imagine that. You've been running from them the whole time. They say, hey, try to get in, become a U.S. citizen, live the good life. You think they really gonna let you live the good life? You think if you snuck into a country, if you snuck into an area, then you tell them, hey, yeah, I snuck in. I should be able to stay here. You think somebody gonna let you stay? I didn't let you in. You snuck in, so you already defied my orders already. You think I'm gonna let you stay? But that's what asylum seekers think. Now, it's very unfortunate because people do come here on these work visas, learn to love the country. They are giving back to society because they're getting paid these high paid jobs. But you got to remember, they on work visas. They taking up actual job opportunities that should be going to American citizens who graduate from college in this country. They're getting paid these high paid jobs and sending the money back to their country. And if you don't believe me that people are coming here, flooding our cities, that will allow it because they find loopholes. If you don't believe me that people are doing that, then take a look at Minnesota yourself. Take a look at it yourself. If you go and look at the population in the state of Minnesota that are of Somali descent in Minnesota, you're going to find about 80,000 people in Minnesota alone from Somali descent. Now here's the question. And this is how God worked. Some of these scams were so bad where they had misspelled words, misspelled address words, and they were outside of the jurisdiction in which they should be open. Then you got weird people coming out of here talking about some just, oh, they came here at non-business hours. Business hours are between and . Nobody care about that. Nobody care about all that. That page turning. That's me page turning. I'm going to my notes real quick because we really got to get into this. But before we really do, let's start with the timeline because the timeline is very important. People think this is a political thing, and they think that President Trump and his administration are targeting these people, and they need to come correct, and they need to understand who started this actually. And when you go back and you look at the timeline starts in September of 2022. Who was the president at that time, good folks? I'll tell you, it was your man Moneybag Joe. Joe Biden. You know why I call him Moneybag Joe? Because under his watch, he allowed this to happen. But guess what? Under his watch, they picked up on it. What did they pick up on, Peacoat? I'll tell you what they picked up on. In 2022, the Biden administration found fraud schemes, and indicted 78 people on a $250 million fraud scheme related to the nonprofit called Feeding Our Futures. You see the name, Feeding Our Futures. That's funny. They were feeding their futures. You know what gets interesting here? This is the interesting part. 72 out of the 78 people who were indicted, guess where they were from? Take a guess. Don't worry, I'll wait. From your country, Somalia. That's right. Your country in Somalia. That's where they were from. And the crazy part is, Feeding Our Futures, you know what they were doing? They were taking in the money and they were funding it to places like Somalia, to Kenya, to China. Remember that, Somalia and Kenya, because we're going to get to that a little bit later. And I want y'all to keep that in your head. But they were sending this money to Somalia, Kenya, and China. They were buying waterfront properties. These people were buying waterfront properties. Houses in Minnesota, commercial real estate, jewelry. They were stunting on Americans. And you know what? I don't even want to make this a color thing, but really they were stunting on black Americans because what they did is they took the PPP loan type situation and took it to the max. And nobody paid attention to them. Why? Because they were international. America has a problem with watching black people. You can find multiple videos online, or if you go into a store yourself, and you'll find people following black people around stores sometimes. That does happen. It's happened to me several times. But then again, you'll see one of them, and they'll be like, "Oh, nah, we don't need to do nothing with him. He ain't gonna do it. Nah. He don't look like he about that life. Nah. We'll let the person who, who's not from here be able to walk around the shop freely. In reality, we all should be around the shop freely, but why do you focus in on us in particular? All right, cool. Now, I'm not making this next part up at all. I haven't made up nothing I've been saying. Everything I've been saying has been stated by facts. Have y'all went and looked at the IQ? The IQ of a person from this area where they're saying they're from, Somalia? And I say this only because of just like recent things that have happened. Have y'all looked at the IQ of these people? Just recently, because we're going to get a little bit sidetracked from the story, because we're going to get back to this damn timeline. We definitely going to get back to this timeline. But recently, apparently they stuff was broken into. People were breaking into the learning centers, or the learning center, kind of like that. I'm not sure if it was that one in particular. I'm just looking at that one right now on my face. But they broke into places like the learning center and said that they stole paperwork and documents saying who worked there and the children's names and stuff like that. First of all, look at who the manager is. I'm going to show y'all right there. Boom, put him up. Y'all see who the manager is, right? Y'all think he's running this whole entire program? Y'all think he's running this whole entire program? This man is wearing a fitted hat inside. He's wearing a fitted hat inside. Come on, people. He ain't no rapper. He ain't about to perform. But he been influenced by that hip hop. Know what I mean? He been influenced by, trying to look rich and this, that, and the third. I told you earlier, they said they had waterfront property, people. I know how much waterfront property is. Put the prices up there. Y'all know how much waterfront property is? This man had waterfront property. We only got state property because that's what they giving us. He needs to be state property. All of them. If they are in fraud and they've been scamming, they need to be in state property. Let's talk about some people who need to be in state property. Let's go to the schematics. Again, 2022. The feds officially began a 78-person indictment for the $250 million for that nonprofit scheme. All right, cool. Fraud. That's what they was getting at. September of 2025. 8 people who were in the scheme were related to Minnesota Housing Stability Service Program people. People who worked in those programs were related. 8 of those people. 6 of them were from Somalia. So now we know where the information was being gotten from, people. We know who gave them the information on how to scam. Allegedly. Then, another thing happened. September in 2025. One of the 78 people was hit with the autism program fraud scam. He was scamming or she was scamming with the autism. Like, think about this. This is money that could be going to the people in Minnesota who need somebody to watch their kid. But they was giving them the $250 million and they was sending it out to God knows where. It was said, and this is allegedly, this is the only alleged thing out of everything that I'm saying. There's only one alleged thing. One real alleged thing. The City Journal. This is a publication, people. This is a publication. The City Journal said that there was some type of Al-Shabaab ties, whatever. They know something about Al-Qaeda. That's all I know. They say that they was sending money back to people with the Al-Shabaab, Al-Whoever. Yeah, I guess it was a terrorist organization that was in the Somalia and whatever. Oh yeah, there's more. That's the page turning. Then December. Here's where it gets funny. December. There was additional charges added with the fraud. And then when in December 2025, your man, Nick Shirley, shout out to him. He's been in a couple of my videos. I use some of his content, you feel me? I had to use it in Pico in the morning. I had to let the people know that these people be lying. And there's real people, normal people like Nick Shirley who are out there just reporting the truth. There is no extra intention, just he wants to report the truth. The regular media would have never showed up to these Somali daycares because they're protected by a certain political party. And if somebody else on the opposite side of the party shows up, they're going to try to make it a political thing. And that's the beautiful thing about YouTube, folks. That's the beautiful thing about YouTube. This gentleman did this on his own. Went up there, had his own security, because I peeped, he had his own little security and whatever, but he was asking respectful questions. He was asking respectful questions. These people were afraid to answer his respectful questions, and they, my friend, they are the problem. They're the whole problem. Nothing but the problem, so help me God. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Because if he don't do this, nobody does this. And this is the type of investigative reporting that we need. This is what we call new media. Now everybody on the media want to jump on the bandwagon, come out there and talk about, what was happening, how he's just a YouTuber. Every time he's mentioned, they're like, he's a YouTuber. No, he's a human being. He's a man of God. He's a man of God. There you go. He a man of God. He got up there and he preached the truth about these people. Called them 4K, a lion. I'm talking about some. Matter of fact, roll the tape. Y'all can roll the tape right now.
I want to start with the statement, which was a lot of the journalism that's been going on the last couple of days has been really dishonest. I don't want to point fingers at anybody, but I do feel like what was done was someone came to our building outside of operating hours. When there's a specific sign on our door that says our days and our hours. He came outside of those hours and then claimed, hey, they're closed and they're still making money. They're using taxpayer money to work. And it's like, you don't come outside of operational hours and then say, they're using taxpayer money. That was completely false. As you can see, we're open Mondays through Thursdays, 2 to 10 p.m. He was here earlier. I don't see him right now. So it's like, are you trying to record that we're doing fraud, or are you trying to put the Somali name and the fraud in the same sentence? That's what really hurt us the last couple of days. We're open. We've been open. We haven't closed. We've been open for eight and a half years now. We haven't closed once during that period. So I wanted to touch on that first. The second thing is, which is kind of laughable, is the sign. We messed up the sign. We paid somebody to do our sign. He incorrectly did it. We're having him work on it. We paid him to correct the sign. He said it'll be done by this week. So by the end of this week, our sign will be fine. The third thing, which is the fraud claim. There's no fraud going on whatsoever. Kids come to us, clients come to us, their parents come to us. They're here daily. They leave on time. They come on time. There's no fraud going on whatsoever. Where those claims came from, I mean, if a group of people does fraud, you don't paint the brush with everyone in that.
Talk about some.
Oh, that's like coming between times of operation, not between times of operation, and then you, and then me, and then between 2 and 10, that's when the kids come, we have them until 10 o'clock. No, that's not too late.
Like, come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. What you mean? What you mean? What are you running, a nightclub? 2 to 10? Childcare? When your own state governance says that it could be only in between 6 o'clock a.m. and 6 o'clock p.m., but you run into 2 to 10? Like, are y'all trafficking? Like, what's going on? What's going on? These people need to be investigated. Like the Luring Center, the place that the sign was spelled wrong. You couldn't even scam right. The Luring Center, the front door, the address to the door is spelled wrong. Like, you couldn't scam right. So why do you deserve our money? Throw that picture of him with that Louis Vuitton standing in front of the Louis Vuitton store. Because that was the dude who was working with them. Shoot. Throw that up right now. Because he's not getting away with this, man. I want him locked up. I want him in jail. He should be in jail for that damn forehead he got. Over there looking like Julian Ramos from making of All About the Benjamins. Mr. You'll Never Find blum 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 a hairline like mine ass nigga. He need to be in jail right now. Right now. For lying in our face and playing in our face. Playing in our face. Eating good. Money being sent to Kenya and this place and that place and this place. Man, y'all need to stop playing with me. Y'all really do. Now let's get into this Ilhan Omar stuff, y'all. Because we got to talk about that on the next page. Now, before I get started, I want to say I probably do sit on the Republican side of the party. Actually, that even make this even sound even better. Y'all could say that. I sit on the Republican side on most things because I'm more of a conservative than a person that thinks that people should be able to do anything. If they feel like that, they're this, well, damn it, that's what they are, Nah, I'm not sitting on that side. I'm sitting on the side of reality. I'm looking, I see something, I call it what it is. Ilhan Omar, as y'all know, she's a congressional woman. She was voted in 2018, representative of District 5 in Minnesota. We know that about her, right? She was previously married several times, but one of her marriages was to a person who had a similar name to her original surname, her original last name, which gave people the inkling that she married her brother in order to come over here. Let me tell you right now, that is 100% false. This woman never married her brother, and that is sick. You guys need to be put into detention. Maybe this little daycare in the Luring Center may be able to help you, but you need to be in detention for even thinking that she would do something like that. Why do I say that? Ilhan Omar got here in 1995 as an American refugee. Went through the program and everything. And we're going to go over how you could become a citizen as a refugee, because we're going to go over that too, because I got that information too for y'all. But she came here as a refugee, you feel me? Straight up and down in 95. She spent a little bit of time living in Virginia, and then she moved out there to Minnesota. Now, keep that in mind. She moved to Minnesota. I think that she moved to Minnesota and convinced a whole bunch of other people to move to Minnesota so that she can get elected into office. But that's here nor there. There's nothing against the law saying that she convinced some people to go there and that's against the law. That's not against the law at all. She just knew what she was doing and she knew how she can get into power, and I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. And there's a lot of people who need to have that type of attitude towards it. Because if you found a way around the system and you was getting away with it, hey man, let it rock. Let it rock until you get caught. But when you get caught, don't come here crying, boo-hooing, and oh, this, that, and the third, they're gonna send me back, and oh, I didn't do nothing. And then, oh, matter of fact, put that girl up there who was giving that speech, and then all of a sudden she said she wanna stop fraud, and then she froze up and like, what? This is what I talk about, that IQ shit. Go ahead, put it up.
If childcare is cut, I'm unable to work or go to school. I understand fraud is bad.
Now, back to Ilhan Omar. She previously married a person with the same surname as her. This woman has been married like 4 or 5 times, people. Religiously, civilly, whatever you want to call it. She's been married like 4 or 5 times. She just got divorced last in like 2023, recently. Recently. That's what we saying though. That's what we saying. So like, before we start speaking on people, you know what I mean? Because the headline's gonna hit. The headline gonna hit with the headline hit. If they want the headline to make you look crazy, they can make the headline make you look crazy. If they want the headline to make it look like that you married your brother, they can make the headline look like you married your brother. But at the end of the day, there was no real public record. There's no real evidence saying that she did these such things. And I'm going to need people to stop repeating that. I almost caught myself. I was like, well, the headline said that she married a brother, so like she should be gone, right? She was here illegally. No, that's not the truth. That's not the truth. The woman's been here again since 1995. People, 95. Before the millennium change. I'm just saying. So shout out to Ilhan Omar. Shout out for her little movement and whatever. You know what I mean? I don't like the fact that she be saying some crazy stuff in Congress. You know, I don't like none of that. But shout out to her getting herself into position. Yeah, shout out to her. But let's get back to the refugee to citizen track, because we gotta get to that. That's very important. And this is for all my people who have family members who are looking to come to the United States and you're looking to get them in here. I'm gonna tell you the exact path you gotta go through. That will make it so much easier, and you don't have to look over your shoulder once you're here. Like the asylum seekers who come here under different pretenses and don't want to leave, but they expect us to keep them here, which is sad. It's sad because some of these people stay for a long time. We're gonna get into that. Anywho, if you're a refugee, you're going to get vetted outside the United States for 1 to 3 years by the UN in the United States. They're checking your background, and then after they do all that and they allow you to come in, they're going to say, hey, you can work, you can live here immediately. Now, here's the thing. You have to apply for a lawful permanent residency within 1 year of being here. You must apply for that. What is that you're applying for? We call it a green card. Now, you can apply for that on day 1 when you get here, or you can apply for it at day 363. But you got to apply for it within the first year because you want to stay in compliance with being a refugee. It's very important to stay in compliance with these type people because they'll send you back home, or they'll send the people looking for you. You heard what Tom Homan said. They'll give you that chartered flight with a fresh $3,000 if you tell us. But if they got to come and get you, you get the chartered flight and you're never coming back. I already told you about that earlier. Now, after 5 years of being here on that green card, you have to apply for that naturalization eligibility. Now, what does that do? That right there will give you the opportunity to vote and all that stuff because it will make you a United States citizen, which is the goal. So you don't have to go back to another country. You can take advantage of all of the policies and everything that we have here. Yes, it's very important. Here's the key things though. There's key requirements. You have to speak English. You have to have some good basic English speaking skills. You have to be a person of good moral character, meaning and stay out of trouble. You should not be in police custody or in trouble because that could interfere with the time frame that you have of being a naturalization citizen, a naturalized citizen here. You know what I mean? And then you have to pass the United States civics test. You know, that's the one with the presidents, all that other stuff that they be talking about that we learn about in the 5th grade. But y'all could go ahead and try to pass that joint. It may work out for you. It will work out for you. And then after you do that, you're going to do the final step. It's the oath of allegiance. You know, when you stand up and you see all them people saying all them words and then they become an official United States citizen. Now, this process, this whole entire process takes 5 to 10 plus years. It all depends. There could be delays because of crime. There could be delays because of law changes. There could be delays because of administration changes. They feel as though they don't want to do that anymore. But again, you got to remember, you have to go through this way because if you decide to be an asylum seeker, which is sneak into the country and then decide that you're not going to leave or you're going to try to force your way in, but then you're going to tell the government that you did that, and they're going to say, hey, man, you got to go back home. Because asylum seekers, again, are the people who should be worried about ICE. Now, with that being said, I hope you guys feel just a little bit more smarter and just learn a little bit more about what's going on out here in this world. Because if you let the headline tell it, the headline will say that the lady married her brother. The headline will say they trying to deport all people who are illegally here, which is true because technically if you're an asylum seeker, you're illegally here at some point. Your visa ran out, man. Your visa ran out. If I was in another country and my visa ran out, what they gonna do to me? Send me back or send me back in a box of organs missing? That's what they gonna do, man. We gotta start using logic and common sense. These people stole like $250 million and they gonna get away with it. Meanwhile, somebody stole a PPP loan and they getting 15 years and it was only $50,000 worth of money that they stole. Like, these are the situations. They're like, oh, they're picking on us as a community. Oh, dee-da. Nah, we ain't picking on you as no damn community. You stole from us. You stole from the taxpayers. They want their money back. You stunning on us. You bought the waterfront property, man. We want our money back. Point blank, period. And this big head dude, he need to be in jail. I'm going to continuously keep saying it. I don't care how much that he had to do with it, but for him to come out here and to act like that we stupid and play in our face, they need to put this man in prison right now. By the end of January, he better be indicted. I ain't playing. And that's all I got. It's been real, y'all. Thank y'all for staying up with me. P-Code After Dark. Next episode coming soon.
Our kids come to us. We don't have anyone in the morning or after school hours.
Unfortunately, we saw that there was important documentation, enrollment of the children, and also employee documentation that was gone. There were also checkbooks that were ripped from our check papers that were ripped from our book. This is devastating news, and we don't know why this is targeting our Somali community, as one video made by a specific individual made this all happen. We've been receiving hateful messages through our voice notes threatening us since the past couple of days, including one that happened yesterday morning when after the break-in. This is frightening and exhausting because this is happening to us Somali communities as Somali Americans. We are supposed to stand with each other and help each other through everything that's happening. This is also sad that a video can cause all of this. I want to say that there are hundreds of daycares out there, Somali daycares that are out there, and we all help our children and everyone in our community. We have high quality daycares, and this is very sad news that one individual who made a false claim about fraud that is happening in the daycares engaged everyone else to come and do this to us.
If childcare is cut, I'm unable to work or go to school. I understand fraud is bad.
Hey friends,
Are you forgetting the most important thing? Who you represent? Who are you there to support? Who is in your corner? Are you there for the God or are you there for the devil? Because if you're there for God, make sure you download Bible Gateway. This is somewhere where you can get the Bible on the move, where you can either read it yourself or highlight passages, or you can do my favorite thing, which is listen to the audio book of the Bible. Catch any verse any time of the day at Bible Gateway. Download the app.